Good morning, everyone. It is 10:10 on a beautiful Monday morning, and I want to welcome you all to this week's episode of Instant Replay, North Georgia's only live online sports show. It has been a busy week here at Team FYN Sports. We have been doing all sorts of things, getting ready for the transition between the fall sports, football, softball, volleyball, and the winter sports, where we are transitioning into basketball season. They say time flies when you're having fun, and we must be having lots of fun here at Team FYN Sports because the time has definitely flown by. This past Friday night, the high school football teams wrapped up their regular season game, so we're definitely going to go over that in the lineup, and we're looking ahead to playoffs. And then along with that, as I said, basketball season is starting up for many teams this week. So if we have time at the end, we will definitely talk a little bit about that as well. Now, also at Team FYN Sports, we've been doing a little bit of rebranding, and you can see this coffee mug right here that I have has the new FYN logo on there, so we are really excited about that. Excited to be unveiling that, and I'm sure you've seen that on some of our websites and at the bottom of the screen here and different places like that. So exciting things happening at Team FYN Sports at Fetcher News, and we are excited to share those with you here. And we also, this past Saturday, all day broadcasted the MFL Mountain Football League Super Bowl 3. It was a great time. We had an awesome time out there broadcasting, watching these kids, and we're also going to talk about that at the end of our lineup as well. Now, first and foremost, before we go any further, it is Veterans Day, and I want to give a shout out and say thank you to all of our veterans who have served, and then also a shout out to our military personnel, servicemen and women who are currently serving. And you can see on the screen here, I have featured a couple of pictures of me with my grandfathers, one right there at graduation. He served in the Army Reserves, and then the other one, as soon as that, there it is right there, that's my other grandfather. I'm blessed that both are still alive and with us today. That one right there served in the Navy, so I want to say thank you to Papa Skip and Papa Stan for their service as well. Awesome men there who have definitely contributed a lot to my life. And of course, thank you to all of our servicemen and women and veterans. We are forever in debt to you because freedom, as we all know, is not free. And here at Team FYN Sports, we are 100% behind our veterans and our servicemen and women. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into high school football coverage, the coverage that we had this past weekend. And we are going to start with our White County Warriors. The Warriors unfortunately lost 35-6 against Blessed Trinity at home for the final game of the 2019 season. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is a very tough region that the Warriors play in. And this team that they went up against on Friday night, the Blessed Trinity Titans, are two-time defending state champions. So the Warriors definitely had their work cut out for them. They played with a lot of heart, took an early lead with a 25-yard field goal by Andrew Pierce. The Warriors quarterback Jabin Haynes gathered yards for the Warriors and threw passes to Cooper Turner and Will Sampson. And then the Warriors, of course, had Zion McMullen and Riley Stansel running the ball for the Warriors all night. The game did end in a loss, as I said, 35-6 against the Titans. It did finish the season for the Warriors. So this was their final game of the 2019 season. They were a little short of making it into the playoffs, so we definitely hate to hear that. But we know that this is a team that has played with heart and a lot of grit all season, definitely. Carson Finley, our sideline reporter for the Warriors, has been out there on the sideline all season covering these guys and reading these game recaps. We know that each of these players has gone out and given it their all. And they did improve their record, their overall record from the 2018 season. They ended up with an overall record of 5-5 and improved on their season by 2 wins. They also got big win over Pickens this season and defeated rivals Lumpkin County and North Hall this season as well. So they've done a lot of improvements over there in Cleveland, and definitely this is a team that was a force to be reckoned with during the 2019 season. And they had a great quarterback in quarterback Jabin Haynes, had great receivers with Cooper Turner and Will Sampson. And then also Zion McMullen and Riley Stansel running the ball there a lot for the Warriors in this game against Blessed Trinity, and then also over the entire season. And we want to say thank you to Coach Tim Coakley and all of the Warriors for letting us come over there and cover you guys this season. I hope that you enjoyed your coverage. I hope you feel like that we gave you fair and accurate coverage. Carson did an awesome job, and so we are very happy. This was our first season at Team F-Line Sports covering the Warriors for an entire season. So we're definitely very excited that we got the opportunity to do that, and we want to wish these guys the best of luck. Say congratulations to the seniors who were a part of this team, and wish you all the best of luck in the off season. And before we know it, the 2020 season's going to be here. So it won't be long. We'll blink and we'll be back around to covering the Warriors again for their next season. And we're definitely looking forward to doing that. So with that being said, I guess that's going to wrap it up for our White County Warriors this season. Again, great team. Congratulations, you guys, for all of your accomplishments this season, getting a couple more wins to improve your record from the previous season, and then also some great players that have made awesome plays over the course of the season. So that will wrap it up for them. Now we're going to move on into Gilmer County. I said last weekend, or the previous week, that what we've been doing here at Team F-Line Sports is instead of going, we used to go county by county, and then we went team by team, and now I've been changing it up a little bit, going a little bit region by region. So we're in Class 4A, and the next region that we're going to be moving over into is the region that has the Gilmer Bobcats and the Pickens Dragons, and we're going to start off with the Gilmer Bobcats. And shout out to the Bobcats because they ended their 2019 season on a very high note, getting the victory over the Lafayette Ramblers 28-23, and this was a very back and forth game. Two teams that were keeping up with each other throughout the entire thing. So definitely shout out to the Bobcats on finishing their season with a win. The Bobcats were missing 3 starting players in quarterback, defensive back Spencer Smith, quarterback, defensive back, and punter Seth Darling, and linebacker tight end Kyle Allison. So some younger players had to step up, and they definitely did that in this game. Freshman quarterback Will Kiker started at center, and a big run by Kobe Stonecipher, who has been earning big runs and gaining a lot of yards for the Bobcats throughout the entire season. He earned the first touchdown for the Bobcats to take an early lead. Now the Ramblers tied it up shortly after, and Lafayette had several fumbles throughout the night, which worked to the advantage of the Bobcats, especially in this next play. One fumble slipped out and into the hands of Gilmer's Kanan Walker, who took it 55 yards to the house to regain the lead there for the Bobcats. The Ramblers scored just before the half to tie it at 14, to take it into the half, tied at 14-14. Coming out of the half, the Bobcats defense stood tall and stopped another Lafayette touchdown. Shout out to this Bobcats defense. I always say that you need the offense to be able to score points for you, obviously, but then you also need that defense to be able to stop the other team from scoring any more points, and the Bobcats defense definitely did this on Friday night in Lafayette. The Ramblers were successful with a field goal attempt to take the lead, but the Bobcats' Gray McClure broke through with a 58-yard touchdown run to regain the lead, 21-17 here in the third quarter. The next Gilmer score was by Kobe Stonecipher for a 2-yard touchdown, and the point attempt was good for the Bobcats to go up 28-17. Lafayette did score one more time to make the final score 28-23, and from there, the Bobcats were able to eat up the clock and take a knee to end the game there with the victory. So shout out to the Bobcats. Man, there's nothing better than knowing that you were able to end your season on a win there, and I know that these Bobcats have got to be excited because they improved their record this season from last season and got some wins and ended their season on this high note with a victory over the Ramblers. Now, our sideline reporter Richie Stone was there on Friday night, as he always is, and he's really great about getting post-game interviews with head coach Kevin Saunders, and of course he got another one on Friday night to wrap out the final victory and final game for the Bobcats. So we're going to take a look at that real quick.
All right, Coach, what happened tonight?
Big victory for the Cats. Finished the year on a great note, and couldn't be more proud of these seniors and what they've done for this football program. I think we brought Gilmer football back. We got a lot to build on, Seniors should be very proud of themselves. I'm very proud of them. Love those kids to death.
And even though, like we talked about earlier in the week, the game really didn't have a lot of significance as far as the playoffs go, but I mean, there's a big difference between 4-6 and 3-7.
Oh, no doubt. And, we had a chance to win every game, and we did it right there. We've found a way to win. We played a quarterback as freshman quarterback. Will Kiker did an incredible job. Ran the offense like a champ. We knew he couldn't throw, but he did a great job. And, I can't say enough about our kids and how they battled the whole ball game. Even when things sometimes don't look good, we can make some adjustments, and they did pretty well. And our coaches did a great job calling plays. I thought they did a really good job. The kids played hard. We're going to play hard every game. We don't give up, 600 and some yards rushing. Yeah, they had to earn everything they got tonight, and I thought that was one of the big keys to us on defense.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the touchdown on defense was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to close out the game there.
Oh, yeah, we got the first down. Gooch made a big run there on first down. I couldn't be more proud of them. And, the great thing I like about this football team is they all contribute. Everybody in practice, scout team, everything, they all contribute, and I couldn't be more proud of them.
It seems like you have a happy bunch. These kids are fired up.
They deserve it, man. You've been 0-30 for so long, and now this year to come in. Who would have told these kids in this football program that we would have won 4-6 and had a chance to win 4 others? Nobody would have thought that. So I'm very, very proud of this team and these kids.
Well, I know the rest of the community is too. Great season. Happy for the seniors, and we'll see you on Monday to wrap everything up.
You got it. Hey, thanks for everything you do. Go Cats! Cats!
There are so many great things that you could say about the Bobcats and about this 2019 season. Shout out to them again. Coming into this season, you get a brand new head coach, new coaching staff, and a lot of times with teams, it takes more than a season to adjust and to work out those kinks and to come out and improve your record like the Bobcats have. But they've done it this season. Head coach Kevin Saunders has definitely stepped into that role, and these guys have hit the ground running. They did that from the beginning. They've improved on each and every game. As Coach Saunders said, the guys on the team have plenty of reasons to be proud, and especially the seniors. There's 5 seniors. They have so many reasons to be proud and to hold their head up high. Yes, they didn't make it to the playoffs, but you've got to look at the season as a whole. And I believe I mentioned it last week when we were talking about the Dawson County Tigers and said Maxwell, because Coach Maxwell is one of those coaches that will say each and every game you've got to improve, and there's always some way that you can improve. But also, any football coach will tell you that you've got to look at the season as a whole, and you've got to look at how you've improved over the course of a season and over the course of each and every game. And the Bobcats have definitely done that, and so shout out to them. Congratulations, guys. You have played awesome this season. You have played a phenomenal game each and every game, and you have came out and improved so much, and we at Team F1 Sports are super proud of you. And of course, I want to say thank you to Richie Stone, our sideline reporter for the Gilmer Bobcats, and also thank you and give a shout out to Carson Finley, our sideline reporter for the White County Warriors, for all the work that they have done this season. And also thank you to Coach Kevin Saunders and to the Gilmer Bobcats staff for letting us come out and give you guys some coverage this season. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. And, as I said, the 2019 season has wrapped up for the Bobcats, but we're going to blink and it's coming back at the 2020 season. And so I can't wait to see how these guys are going to take the off season to improve and come back out and definitely advance more on the record that they set and the precedent that they set for this season. So congratulations, Bobcats, on a great 2019 season. So it is time for us to take our first break of the show. And when we come back, of course, we're going to continue recapping games from each of our teams here at Team FYN Sports. And then, of course, talk about the teams that are going to be advancing into the playoffs. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Team FYN Sports Instant Replay.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Hi everyone, Dave Garner here. You might know me as a regular contributor to Team FYN Sports and the Instant Replay, but did you know I'm also your local Woodman Life representative? My job is to make sure that families are protected through needs-based life insurance and retirement. I want to make sure that you leave your loved ones with memories, not expenses. Call me today to find out how I can help you to not outlive your money and that your money outlives you. Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Instant Replay, where this week we are recapping Week 12, the final week of regular season high school football. It's crazy to believe that we are already at this point where we are past the regular season and looking ahead into the playoffs. And we have 4 teams here at Team FYN Sports that are advancing to the first round of playoffs. So we are definitely going to be talking about them this week and today and highlighting them and looking ahead a little bit and talking some about the teams that they are going to be facing this Friday night. So before we do that, I want to give a shout out to our social media. I want to remind everyone how you can get in touch with us. You can like us on our Facebook page at Team FYN Sports. That's where we post the bulk of our content. every time we post a new article or provide some sort of update, it always goes onto our Facebook page. Now, we also do the same with our Twitter and Instagram handles. It is at Team FYN Sports, same across the board. We like to keep it pretty simple and consistent here. So you can find us there at those handles. And then also, after this show is done streaming live, we will upload it to our YouTube channel as FYN TV, Fetch Your News. You can go and subscribe to that as well. Now, on that channel, we are not exclusive to just our sports shows. BKP posts his morning show every day on there as well. So you may go looking for one of our sports shows and find something else you like. So check us out on there and subscribe to our channel so you can stay up to date and receive notifications for any time we post something new. Now, I always also like to say that if you have a favorite athlete or a favorite team you want to give a shout out to, you can shoot us an email, teamfynsports@fetchyournews.com, or give us a ring at that phone number there. There's plenty of ways to get in contact with us, and we always love to hear from you. Now we're going to pick back up with our Pickens Dragons in Class 4A. They had a bye week for the last week of the season, which I know they had to appreciate and enjoy because they get time to rest up and prepare for their playoff game that is coming this Friday night. All eyes from the Pickens Dragons were on the Heritage Northwest Whitfield game on Friday night as these two teams battled it out. And this game determined the seeding for the Pickens Dragons. And with that seeding, the Dragons are going to be heading to Bogart, Georgia this Friday to take on North Oconee for the first round of playoffs. Now, we will be looking a little bit more, researching a little bit more into North Oconee this week. Also, we're going to try to bring you a playoff preview for the Pickens Dragons. We're going to try to get out to their practice one day this week, get an interview with Coach Jeff Nelson, get an interview with some of the players there, and give you a little bit of a preview of this playoff game on Friday night, which if RJ Casey can be there, you know RJ Casey will be there. He is our Pickens County Dragons guru. He covers the Dragons no matter what. He always goes to the games. He's on the sideline. He is awesome. He knows everything there is to know about Pickens. So if he can be there, I know RJ will be there and be bringing us a recap of that game as well. So good luck to the Dragons this week as they head to Bogart. And again, we will be trying to bring you some coverage of their practice and a little bit of a preview of this playoff game against North Oconee. So that's going to wrap it up for them. Not a lot to say because, like I said, they had a bye week on Friday night. Their last week was a bye week. So again, I know they had to appreciate that. And we are looking forward to what they do on Friday night. Now, our second team that is advancing to the first round of playoffs is in Class 3A Region 7. It is the Dawson County Tigers. These guys are going to be heading on into the playoffs, and I'm not 100% certain what team they will be playing yet, but as we get that information, we will provide it to you. The Tigers unfortunately lost a nail-biter to North Hall in the final game of the regular season on Friday night. It was a final score of 40-37. Two great teams in the top of their region. The big thing about this game was that it was going to determine the seeding for second and third place in this region. As we know, GAC, Greater Atlanta Christian, clinched the first place spot, and then our Fannin County Rebels had clinched that fourth place spot a couple weeks back when they played Lumpkin County. So this game was going to determine the second and third place seeding. And this was another game that was back and forth for the majority of the game. These are two great teams that have great offense and defense. And Dawson County got an early lead with a 28-yard touchdown pass from Zacchaeus Holtzclaw to Riley Herndon. Holtzclaw was responsible for 3 touchdown passes that night, 1 to Herndon and 2 to Dakota Sonicson, which we know there that a lot of the Tigers' offense is dominated by Holtzclaw with his passes to Sonicson, and then also Sean Thomas completing the trio there, who runs the ball for the Tigers and always picks up yards for them, first downs. Sonicson also ran in a touchdown early into the game to take the lead back after North Hall had scored there. Herndon also stepped up on defense with a big tackle for loss and blocking a field goal attempt, and if I'm not mistaken, Herndon has like 7 interceptions on the season, leads the region in interceptions there. Sean Thomas completed the trio we talked about already. He picked up yards and first downs throughout the night. And then Isaiah Grindle ran in the second to last touchdown of the game after North Hall spent the majority of the fourth quarter eating up the clock. I know that had to be frustrating for the Tigers when they get the ball back and North Hall was trying to run the clock out, and they did just that. Fortunately, the Tigers were not able to get the edge on the Trojans, and the final score, as I mentioned earlier, was 40-37. But again, a great game there by two great teams that are usually at the top of the region for Region 7, Class 3A. Now, also, Dawson County is advancing to the first round of playoffs. And again, when we get more information on who they're playing and where they're playing, we will share that with you. I want to give a shout out to our sideline reporter for the Dawson County Tigers, Noah Rubin, who's been doing an awesome job. I have just been reading highlights from each of these games from the articles that our sports writers put up on our website. If you want to get the full effect, the full article, you can go on our website. It's www.fetchyournews.com. You can click on the county you're looking for at the top of the screen there. And then once you click on that county, you'll be on the main page there. And you can click on Team FYN Sports. And then you'll be able to find all of these game recap articles that our sports writers have provided. And they do an awesome job. And also shout out to Noah. I wish I had the picture that we took of him on Saturday, him and RJ goofing around. But Noah spent all of Saturday up on the roof of the White County High School press box, running the camera for us for the MFL Super Bowl broadcast. And he was freezing at times, I know. And I would check on him every now and then to make sure that he was doing okay up there. But he stuck with it through the entire day. He was up there for probably about 12 hours. Running the camera, making sure that he got coverage of all these kids that were out there playing their hearts out, and he did an awesome job. So shout out to Noah for not only covering the Dawson County Tigers for us this season, but also for running the camera for us on Saturday. Noah, you're the best, and we definitely appreciate you. Man, maybe between the break I need to find that picture there. We took a good picture of him and RJ after Saturday's festivities, so I need to find that picture in the next break. But that's going to wrap it up for the Dawson County Tigers. They have played a phenomenal regular season, and I feel like they have a really good shot of advancing past this first round of playoffs. Now, just to talk about them a little bit more, at the very beginning of the season in the summer, BKP and I went down there and we interviewed head coach Sid Maxwell, talked to him a little bit, got a preview of the team and of the season, and he was telling us how they were a young team. They had graduated a lot of seniors, but if you look at their record now and you look at the way they've been playing, you would never know that. I know from the beginning of the season, they had like a three-way tie trying to determine their quarterback, and Holtzclaw stepped into that role, and he has done an awesome job completing passes, and there has definitely stepped up a trio down there with Holtzclaw, Dakota Sonicson, and Sean Thomas. So no doubt this trio will be taking that into the playoffs. And then also Riley Herndon playing awesome on defense, getting interceptions throughout the season. So this is a great team. They may be a young team, but they have definitely came into their own here this season. So we are excited for them as they go into the first round of state playoffs. So good luck to the Tigers. We're not done with them yet. And we're excited for them here at Team FYN Sports. Now, I believe it's about time to take our second break, but before we do, I want to give a shout out to my personal team here, the Lumpkin County Indians. They fell in a tough game on Friday night, 40-31 against the East Hall Vikings, but I'm going to harp on them a little bit here because I've covered them all season. They are finished with their 2019 season, and guys, I want to say here, from a personal standpoint, I have seen how each week, despite the loss that you may have came off of the week before, each week you come out, I can tell you're determined, I can tell you want to play. You're not getting out there with your heads hung low thinking, oh, we're going to go into this and probably going to be another loss. You came out, you've played hard with each and every game. Head coach Caleb Sorrells has done an awesome job keeping the guys encouraged. This was his first season, not only as head coach for the Lumpkin County Indians, but as a head coach in general, overall. So shout out to Coach Sorrells for that as well. Now on Friday night, the Indians, you couldn't count them out of this game. It looked like maybe East Hall was going to get a little too far ahead in the first half of the game, but the Indians came back out and scored. Tucker Kirk, the quarterback, was completing passes to Trey Wilkes. The Indians scored multiple times throughout the game. They were doing an awesome job, played hard. You couldn't count them out. And guys, you have done an awesome job this season with that each and every game. So Drew Allison there, you can see in the picture, don't want to leave him out. He was picking up yards for the Indians. And also Tavion Lawrence, a freshman, one of the biggest plays of the night for the Indians, if not the biggest play, was for him to run it back, a kick return almost nearly, I mean, he was fast. That's the only way I could say it. He blew past all of the East Hall defenders, ran it all the way nearly back for a touchdown. That sideline exploded. They were so excited. And then it wasn't long after that Tucker Kirk was able to run it in for, I believe it was the second touchdown of the game for the Indians there. And it was a phenomenal game for the Indians. A great way to end the season. And also, speaking of ending the season, have one more final regular season interview from head coach Caleb Sorrells. So we're going to watch that really quick. All right, Lumpkin County Indians fans, this is Lauren Hunter here with head coach Caleb Sorrells for the last regular season game and last game for the Indians 2019 season. Coach, just tell us a little bit about how proud you are of these guys for the season.
We've talked about being uncommon all year long, and as many things as have gone wrong and haven't gone the way we expected them to, or hadn't turned out the way we wanted them to. These kids right here continue to fight. They continue to show up. They continue to try to learn what it means to give best effort and best focus. We've talked a lot about that, and I hope, and that's what I told them in the huddle. I hope that I don't want to just pay lip service to this idea of learning lessons that go beyond football. So I hope, and I really think that for a lot of them, hopefully all of them, that learning how to push through and learning how to try hard, no matter what the conditions are, no matter what, up by 40, down by 40, doesn't matter. That should take you a long way in life. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Right, and then you said something really important in the huddle, Coach. I overheard you said it's okay to fight when you don't feel like it. And nobody can argue that these guys did not do that tonight, that they came back, closed the gap on the Vikings, and they've done that throughout the entire season as well. So tell us a little bit about how you encourage them to continue to do that.
Sure. We talked all week long, this week specifically, about how we thought that was our advantage, that our character and our focus and our family, was our advantage. And so we just kept doing that, Did they out-athlete us in some spots? Yes, absolutely they did. But that doesn't make me any less proud of what they have done this year and what they did tonight, because I do think that I think that was our advantage, and that was our.
And obviously these guys love you.
I guess.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Coach, and congratulations on getting your first season as head coach in the books. Yeah, I didn't catch who that was at the very end, but he just came out of nowhere and kissed Coach Sorrells on the back of the head. I was like, well, I guess the guys love you. But Coach Sorrells has done an awesome job. When I remember the first time I met him, he came in and he said he wanted to make the guys focus on more than just X's and O's football. He wanted them to learn something from it. He wanted them to learn character. One quote that I have from him when he was in the huddle on Friday night was, "It's okay to fight even when you don't feel like it." He wanted to teach them more life lessons. And I know that's kind of branching out from, as I said, just the X's and O's, who ran what, how many yards for football. But, we got to focus on that, because that's what it's all about. And after all this is done, after all this is gone, for the seniors, for us, that's what's going to be left. So shout out to Coach Sorrells for doing just that this season. I know the guys love him. I know that they love what he's doing over there. And again, we're looking forward to the 2020 season for the Lumpkin County Indians. So we're going to end on that positive note for this segment. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we still have the Fannin County Rebels to talk about. We still have the Union County Panthers. We'll talk a little bit about our teams in North Carolina, how they're doing, and then we'll wrap it up with our Mountain Football League, announcing the winners again from Saturday and talking a little bit about those games. So don't go anywhere. We still have lots of exciting stuff planned for you here on Instant Replay.
At Ingalls, we have a very special family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
I'm Jeff Riblett, President of Asset Protection Group. As a certified financial planner and with 20 years experience, I've helped thousands of families and business owners create a tremendous amount of wealth. Fortunately, most of that wealth has been protected. Don't allow an unforeseen life event, such as a nursing home stay or the next market meltdown, destroy your family's wealth. Be smart. Call me. Let's determine how best to protect your assets and preserve your wealth.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Hi everyone, Dave Garner here. You might know me as a regular contributor to Team FYN Sports and the Instant Replay, but did you know I'm also your local Woodman Life representative? My job is to make sure that families are protected through needs-based life insurance and retirement. I want to make sure that you leave your loved ones with memories, not expenses. Call me today to find out how I can help you to not outlive your money and that your money outlives you. Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
All right, everyone, we're back. Thank you for sticking with us through that little break there, and thank you to our sponsors. We run their commercials during the breaks, and we'll say thank you to them. Also, you can see all of our social media information there. I'm not going to go over each of them like I normally do because I want to make sure we have time for everything that I want to cover today. But you can see our social media there, how to get in touch with us. So if you have anything you want to get in touch with us about, there you go. Now, previous to this segment, I was talking about I want to put up that picture of Noah and RJ real quick because that makes my life. There it is. All right. So shout out to all of our staff that worked the MFL Super Bowl III on Saturday. And as you can see, RJ Casey and Noah Rubin were two of those staff members there. And we'll come back to that picture. Probably should have held it until we got to MFL, but we'll come back to it because it's worth coming back to. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up here with our high school football coverage. And we're going to kick that off with the Fannin County Rebels, who lost to GAC, Greater Atlanta Christian, 42-21 on Friday night, but played really, in all caps, really well. And you'll hear from Coach Chad Cheatham here in just a minute on how proud he was of the guys. It was a great game to end the regular season on. Now, the Fannin County Rebels are our third team that we cover here at Team FYN Sports that will be advancing to the playoffs. So we're not done with them yet, but this was the last regular season game. Several Rebels stepped up and made big tackles. Overall, it was great defense for the Rebels as well. Greater Atlanta Christian, for those of you who maybe aren't super familiar with the region, is just, consistently either the top team in the region or maybe something happens and they're the second team. But either way, they are the toughest team to play in this region by far. But several Rebels stepped up and made big tackles, including Micah O'Neill and Will Mosley, to hold the Spartans for a while on their first drive. They did score, and they did take a lead. The Spartans did a lead of 14-0 into the second quarter, but it didn't take long. Coming out of the second quarter, that Traylon Owensby, who just achieved over 1,000 yards week before last, against Lumpkin County, he was taking handoffs left and right to gain yards, and he ran it into the end zone for the Rebels' first touchdown. And the Rebels continue to keep pace with the Spartans. After GAC scored another touchdown, it didn't take long for Traylon once more to run 61 yards for another Rebel touchdown there. There were also great passes to gain yards from Luke Holloway, the quarterback in Fannin, to Andre Bivens. And Seth Reese got an interception for the Rebels in the fourth quarter, which led into Traylon's and the Rebels' third and final touchdown of the night. So again, shout out to both sides of the ball for the Rebels because they did an awesome job on offense, picking up yards, running past the Spartans, passing past the Spartans, and then also on defense, holding them, and Seth Reese getting an interception there, which is just awesome for against the Spartans. They're like the Alabama of this region. And then also we have the post-game interview with head coach Chad Cheatham, and you'll hear a little bit more from his perspective how proud he was of the guys. And it was their senior night. So shout out and congratulations to the seniors as well. But let's go ahead and watch that interview really quick.
At Team FYN Sports Fan, it's Reagan Young here with head coach of the Rebel football team, Chad Cheatham. Coach, tonight was senior night, and I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about the seniors and the impact they've had on this season so far.
Yeah, I tell you what, I've never been more proud of a team all my life. Coming into an opponent that we knew, 7 or 8 guys that are Division I signees. Our seniors, they embraced the moment, the game that they were in. We competed our butts off. Scoreboard shows it's 42-21. It's closer than that. I think we shocked them a little bit. I'm so proud of our kids. It's just amazing what they did tonight. And this senior group's just super, super special.
And y'all have a big game coming up next week in the playoffs. How are y'all going to get ready for it in practice?
Well, I think, as always, you do the same thing. You stay in the same routine, and you prepare like we prepare for everybody else. We make a road trip, and we're going to try to get us a win in week 11.
Oh, my God. Thank you, Coach.
So you see there how proud Coach Cheatham was of the guys after the game. And he said they got out there and, quote, competed their butts off, end quote. And if you know Chad Cheatham, that is a very Coach Cheatham thing to say. And they definitely did on Friday night. I was not there, but from what I've heard and what I've seen in this game recap, the Rebels definitely gave it their all. So congratulations to them. And again, excited because we're not done with them. They're going to the first round of state playoffs. So we will do our best to cover that game and bring you coverage of that game, and we will see how the Rebels do. Go Rebels! All right, now we're going to finish up our high school football coverage in Georgia really quick with the Union County Panthers. Fortunately, tough loss for the Panthers here. They were up against they were tied for that number 1 spot in the region with the Rabun County Wildcats. And this was not the best game for the Union Panthers. It was a rough night on offense and defense. They scored at close to the end of the game with a pass from Pearson Allison to Mason McCombs. But it just, not everything. You can't win them all. We'll just put them that way. You can't win them all. And the Panthers are still going to the playoffs. They're second seed. They're still going to host. So definitely a huge advantage for them. They'll be up against South Atlanta. We do know that. And we know this is a great Panthers team. We know that they were undefeated up until this point. We know they can play great on both sides of the ball. You just have those nights sometimes. And this Rabun County offense and defense is definitely a force to be reckoned with. The Rabun County quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, has several Division I offers. So we'll see how the Panthers recuperate from this and do on Friday night in Blairsville against South Atlanta. So again, I want to go through really quick over our teams in North Carolina. We have the Murphy Bulldogs to start it off. They lost 17-14, close game there against the Robbinsville Black Knights. This was also the game to determine the region championship. And Robbinsville is a team that has came into their own this season and stepped into the role and just played great. And undoubtedly, the Murphy Bulldogs were playing great as well, but they just got edged out a little bit in this game. But they are also going to the playoffs, and we will keep up with them for you all as well. And then also the Andrews Wildcats won 21-0 over Rosman, so they were able to end their regular season on a high note there. So shout out to both of these teams, and we will keep up with them with our sports show every Thursday night beginning at 7 p.m. new time, NC Sports Report, Smoky Mountain Conference Report, with the voice of the Murphy Bulldogs, J.R. Carroll, and the voice of the Andrews Wildcats, Scott Fletcher. These two guys do an awesome job. If you want to know something about Smoky Mountain Conference, watch this show. We stream it live on Team FYN Sports Facebook page every Thursday night beginning at 7 p.m. Now, I know we have one more break we need to take, and so let's go ahead and do that. And when we come back, we will wrap everything up with our MFL Super Bowl III coverage from this Saturday. So don't go anywhere. I know you want to stick around and listen to some about the NFL Super Bowl.
We have a very special family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
I'm Jeff Riblett, President of Asset Protection Group. As a certified financial planner and with 20 years experience, I've helped thousands of families and business owners create a tremendous amount of wealth. Fortunately, most of that wealth has been protected. Don't allow an unforeseen life event, such as a nursing home stay or the next market meltdown, destroy your family's wealth. Be smart. Call me. Let's determine how best to protect your assets and preserve your wealth.
Welcome back, everyone, to the third and final segment of Instant Replay, North Georgia's only live online sports show. We're going to kick it off talking about and wrapping up the show with the Mountain Football League Super Bowl III coverage that we did this weekend at White County High School. There were 6 teams competing, and each game was very close for the most part. Each game was very close. These 2 teams, each team that competed in their division was the best of that division. Obviously, they advanced into the final round of the Super Bowl. And so we were very excited. I want to say congratulations to each of those teams that made it, and we'll give a shout out to the teams that won in just a second. But we broadcasted each of those games live, and you can see here some of our staff goofing off afterwards. Noah Rubin there, our sideline reporter for Dawson County, and RJ Casey, our sideline reporter for Pickens. These 2 guys stuck around the entire time. Noah up on the roof running the camera, and RJ in the booth with Brian commentating on the game. So shout out to both of these guys, and shout out to all of our staff: Destiny, Sam, Jason, Brian, me, Noah, RJ. I feel like I'm leaving out somebody. If I am, I'm so sorry. Lonnie. Lonnie, if I'd left out Lonnie, I've been in trouble. So shout out to everyone that helped make this possible, and thank you to the White County Recreation Department and the Mountain Football League for letting us broadcast these live. Now, also, you can find them all on our YouTube channel, FYN TV, Fetch Your News. So if you want to go back and watch them, if you missed them live, go check them out. They're all on there under our YouTube channel. Now, also, I mentioned earlier that we've been doing some rebranding here at Team FYN Sports. I'm going to flip this around and give a big shout out to Graphic Expressions, our sponsor for this cup, obviously, and then also for providing us with t-shirts for each of the teams that won. There were 6 teams that competed in the Mountain Football League, about 30 teams on each roster. You can do the math. These ladies and gentlemen over at Graphic Expressions are awesome. We want to say thank you to them so much for providing those t-shirts and the coupons for a free ornament for the cheerleaders. And I know that they all greatly appreciate it. So thank you again to Graphic Expressions. We love you guys. Now, also, on a more solemn note, I do want to report that there is a young man on the White County 7U team, Braden Filial, who suffered from a blood clot on his brain a couple of weeks ago, was rushed to the hospital. They performed surgery, and unfortunately he passed yesterday. And there are no words, but really I just want to say that on behalf of Team FYN Sports, we are praying for the Filial family for the loss of Braden, who you can see there, sweet young boy. And we also want to extend prayers to them and for the White County team. They had a ceremony for him on Saturday because his team did advance to the playoffs to the Super Bowl. The ceremony for him with a jersey and a hat that the team had signed, and it was very nice. And again, on behalf of Team FYN Sports, our prayers are with that family and with that team as well. So I want to give a shout out to all of the teams who won on Saturday, one of which was Braden's team in 7U, the White County Warriors. The White County Warriors won also in the 6U age division, so congratulations to them. Congratulations to the White County Warriors teams for 6 and 7U. And I know I spoke with head coach Bray of the 7U White County Warriors team that Braden played on, and I know that they were playing that game for him, and they got that win for him as well. Now in 8U, the Fannin County Rebels won in that game. In 9U, it was the Union County Panthers. In 10U, the Chestatee War Eagles. And then finally in 11U, the Pickens Dragons. So congratulations, a huge congratulations to these teams and these coaches. They were so excited. I talked about on the broadcast as I was doing sideline reporting how you could tell, obviously with each age group, you could tell they were maturing, and then also you could tell they were learning more about the game. And at the 10U level specifically, I remember I was on the Gilmer sideline, and the guys were out there on the field, and they would say, hey, we're missing, if they were missing a player, they'd say, hey, we're missing so-and-so, or we're missing a safety. So it made my heart so happy to see those players out there having a good time, but also competing and learning the game and realizing, hey, we're missing a guy. We don't have a guy on our field with us here. And each team, like I said, could tell they were having the time of their lives just competing in the Super Bowl. When they got done, they were escorted over to the trophy presentation where each team on both teams, or each player on both teams and each cheerleader on both teams was recognized and given a trophy. And then obviously there was the presentation of the big trophy for the winner to go back to their park and rec to treasure for a year. So it was just a great time. We had a great time broadcasting. I was on the sideline, so I got to do a little bit of sideline reporting, talk to a couple of coaches, and then at the end of each game, I would try to gather them all together to congratulate them and give them a minute for the entire team to be gathered together and on camera as well. So if you missed those broadcasts live, I highly recommend that you go back and watch them on our YouTube channel because they're great quality. Our staff does a great job making sure that everything comes through clearly. And also thank you to White County High School for allowing us to borrow one of their cameras for the sideline so that we could zoom in on the trophy presentation. So thank you to them as well. Thank you again once more to White County Park and Rec and to the Mountain Football League as a whole for letting us come out and broadcast this. We had an awesome time, and this is something that all those players and their families can treasure for years to come. So thank you all again. And with that said, that is going to wrap up this week's episode of Instant Replay. It's a great time here in North Georgia sports. We are having so much fun. I'm having a great time covering these games and keeping up with the fall sports. We're winding down on the fall sports as it gets cooler. We're getting more into the winter sports. Basketball is coming up this week, actually. So we're going to be bringing you coverage of that. So stick with us here at Team FYN Sports, where we are always highlighting and promoting young athletes in a positive way. And next week, same time, same place, here on Team FYN Sports Facebook page for another episode of Instant Replay. Until then, I am Team FYN Sports Director Lauren Hunter.